Yesterday we talked about the Buddha having in possession of Mahakaruna, great compassionate feeling, and Sabiñuta Jnana, omniscient knowledge, omniscience. He revealed the right path leading to the right destination based on this Mahakaruna and Sabiñuta Jnana, omniscient knowledge. Sumega, the right path leading to the right destination, Kemanda Bhumi, safe land, as the target, as the goal for walking the right path. And then also we were discussing what kind of individuals walk the path, practice the right path, in order to reach the right destination, the safe land, Kemanda Bhumi, land of peace and security. And time was up, so we ended at this stage. Now we shall pick up where we left off yesterday. The answer is Savaka, Sangha, these two words. Savaka, simply rendered as disciple or disciples, and Sangha, community of disciples, Savakas. Those are the individuals who walk the path, the right path in this case, the straight path, to reach the right or straight destination, safe land, land of peace and security. So they are the individuals who are able to walk this path and are able to reach the right destination. The Savaka has been simply given as disciple, but the implication is, as has been given in the text as Bhagavato Avada Nusasane Sakicham Sunantiti Savaka. Such is the definition given in respect of disciple, Savaka. So the Buddha gave, the Blessed One gave the instructions called Avada, which means guidance and instructions and admonishment, which are given before the task is undertaken, in order to serve as a guide. Anusasane, guide, instruction, very similar meaning to Avada. And this Avada, Anusasane, the instruction, guidance, admonishment, whose instruction is this? It is the instruction given by Bhagavato, the Blessed One, the Blessed One's instructions. So, Sakicha, Sunanditi, they hear attentively, respectfully, carefully, faithfully, hearing, listening, and undertaking the practice, such is Savaka. So, they hear attentively the Blessed One's instruction. Thus they are his disciples, Savaka, literally hearers. Regarding this Sakacham Sunantiti, attentive listening, hearing faithfully, respectfully, the subcommentarian has given further rendering of what is meant by this attentive hearing. This expression has been given, Yatha Nusaitam Pati Pajjanena Kecha Siddhito Hariya Bhavavaham. Hariya Bhavavaham. So Savanam Sakicha Sunanam. Savanam Nama Sakicha Savanam Nama. That is the rendering given in the subcommentarians. And the Sakicham means attentive listening, or listening, hearing attentively. That is the expression, that is the rendering given to Sakicham. And now one has got to accomplish the real task, not just nominal Savaka, not the nominal disciples, but the kind of disciples who has accomplished or who is accomplishing the real task, who is practicing in accordance with the instructions given, and with the practice he or she was able to overcome or discard the things which need to be discarded, abstain from, overcome what should be overcome, and such task is accomplished. Such is what is meant by this accomplishing the task. Listening like the noble ones who practice in accordance with the Buddha's instruction and thus accomplish their task is what is meant by listening attentively. Then only if one cannot accomplish the task, then one will be just nominal disciple or student, and one will not, one's physical, verbal, mental behaviors will not be pure in all aspects. They will be defiled, so that one will fall down into the inferior states. So one has got to purify one's physical, verbal, mental behaviors in all aspects and be fulfilled with insight. Then only one's behaviors will become pure. Then only one will be uplifted. Such is given by this Ariya, which means Parisauddha Uttamo. Parisauddha, pure. If one is pure by body, speech and mind, then all these behaviors will be sublime and noble, free from these impurities such as craving, aversion and delusion. Then, because one becomes pure, one will become noble. So this is how one makes oneself pure and noble, by listening attentively, such as Sakecha Savanam. And such is given in this sub-commentary. And one has to abstain from what should be abstained and observe or perform what should be performed in accordance with the guidance or instructions or admonishment given by the Buddha. That is given by this Ovada Nusasanam. The admonishment, the instructions given by the Buddha. So one has got to practice in accordance with the instructions. Then only one will be the real Savaka. One will be a good, complete follower of the Buddha, a good student. And because one listens attentively to the admonishment or instructions given by the Buddha. So, knowing the guidance of correct practice is the responsibility of the teacher, in this case the Buddha. The Buddha is responsible for giving the guidance in terms of the correct practice, what should be practiced. And with the karuna, with the knowledge, he knows what is good or bad, and with karuna, compassionate feeling, he prevents the disciples, the beings, from committing immoral deeds, and only exhorts them to do good deeds. So that with compassionate feeling, he doesn't want the beings to suffer, only he wants the being to be peaceful and happy. So one has to possess both jnana, knowledge, and compassion, and karuna, not jnana and karuna. Although one knows, one has knowledge, if one has no karuna, then one will not be able to give the correct guidance. One will not be able to show the right path, what is right, what is wrong. So only with karuna, if, on the other hand, one has karuna but no knowledge, then also one cannot discriminate between right and wrong. So also one cannot give the correct guidance in terms of the right path. So one must possess these dual qualities, namely karuna and jnana, compassionate feeling and wisdom or clear vision. then only it will be beneficial, so that one will be able to abstain what should be abstained, and observe or practice what should be observed and practiced, because the guidance given with compassionate feeling. So the Buddha is giving guidance not to let the beings suffer, but to let them become liberated from suffering and be happy and peaceful. So he could only do it with both these qualifications, namely Karuna and Jnana. So this expression, Paticca means practicing correctly, undertaking the practice, walking the right path in accordance with the guidance such is given by this Paticca in the expression of the rendering of attentive listening. So then only there will be benefit in terms of accomplishing the task. That means that is given by this Kecha Sedito, accomplishing the task, accomplishing one's affairs, or in this case the task, actions. Namely, if we practice a way of mindfulness Satipatthana, which are in essence the three trainings of Sila Samadhi Panya, or the noble path of a constituents, if one is able to take on these disciplines to oneself, in one's own stream of consciousness, then one is able to make them steadfast, to make it strong. Then, if one is making these disciplines steadfast, if these disciplines are not taken on oneself to be made steadfast, then what will happen? Then one will be overcome by these impurities. The impurities such as raga, dosa, moha, craving, aversion, and delusion will gain the upper hand. Then one will become inferior, because one is defiled, one becomes impure, and one will become inferior, falling into lower states. Because kilesas tend to torment or torture the beings, so that beings will suffer as a result of kilesas. And then kilesas will pull you down to the inferior states. So the completion of the task, of the practice of the three trainings, is to overcome the three categories of impurities, namely gross, medium, and refined. And overcoming such impurities is what is meant by this accomplishing the task, Kecha Sedito. Let us say with the practice of morality, being grounded in virtuous conduct, one will be able to overcome the transgressive forms of defilements, videkama kilesas, which means that one is accomplishing the abandonment or discarding or overcoming of these transgressive forms of defilements, gross forms of defilements. That is the accomplishment of one's task prior, as a preliminary to Ariyahu, to the state of a noble individual, becoming a noble individual on a part-time basis. So, as much as you are able to abstain them, prevent these impurities from arising, safeguarding yourself, and overcoming them, or having chirana, volitional actions, intentions, to abstain from these transgressive defilements, as much as you do, you are bound to overcome the transgressive types of, gross types of defilements, impurities, videkama kilesa. Such is the accomplishment of the task, Kecha Sedito, as regards Sila, corresponding to Sila. So, in addition to that, if yogi practices the way of mindfulness, with the objective field intensified, concentration intensified, objective field is noted with due attention, so that one is able to concentrate the mind, intensify one's concentration, thus accomplishing the samadhi khanda, the concentration group, namely Viriya Sati Samadhi. If one is practicing this, sustaining this concentration group, the practice of Viriya Sati Samadhi, then one will be able to overcome this obsessive kinds of defilements, pariyutthana kilesas, which can arise in one's mind. And with Sati Samadhi Panya, with Viriya Sati Samadhi, you are able to overcome this pariyutthana kilesas, such as in this way you are accomplishing the task of overcoming the obsessive defilements, pariyutthana kilesas, such as given by this expression, Kecha Sayadaw, as concerns the pariyutthana kilesas, obsessive defilements. Later, as you in the course of the practice, with the noting mind coming to face to face with the noted object, noting mind becoming concurrent with the noted object, and cultivating insight, observing this true nature, the nature of these objects noted in stages, you are able to overcome the latent tendencies of impurities on a part-time basis. That is accomplishment prior to becoming a noble one, Ariya, preliminary to Ariyahood. So in this way, you are able to overcome with the practice of Panya, insight knowledge, you overcome this latent tendencies on a part-time basis. In this way, with the practice of Sila Samadhi Panya, the three trainings, you are overcoming the three categories of impurities, gross, medium and refined. Such is accomplishing the task, Kecha Sayadaw, in terms of overcoming the impurities. Then you become the yogi who has accomplished this task, the real yogi, the real savaka, the real disciple. So that with sila you are free from videka kilesas as a preliminary part, in a preliminary way to Ariyahood, purifying yourself so that your behaviors, physical, verbal behaviors become gentle. And with the practice of concentration, you are accomplishing the task by way of overcoming obsessive defilements, so that your mind becomes pure and graceful and gentle. And with the cultivating of insight, as your noting mind is concurrent with the object, are able to know the object concurrently, seeing the true nature of the objects, and in stages of insight knowledge, you are overcoming these latent tendencies, thus purifying. You become purified from latent tendencies on a part-time basis. Such is savaka in practice, who practices in accordance with the guidance or instructions given by the Buddha. As much as one abstains and overcomes these impurities, then one's behaviors by body, speech and mind will become pure and noble. And such is the accomplishment in a preliminary way before one becomes an Ariya. So such making this become, to let them rise, is given by this Ariya Bhavavaham. Ariya Bhavavaham. That is making yourself to become an Ariya. You're walking the path of Ariya. Because you are, such is the definition given to Sakhicha Savana, attentive listening, not just ordinary listening or ordinary hearing. So this is how one has got to understand. One has to understand in terms of the practice. Hence this expression rendering given, the meaning of Sakhicha Savana. Based on this basic moral conduct and possessing this right understanding of karma and karma result, known as karma sakara samadhi. We are following the path, walking the path of insight, Vipassana jnana, or the Satipatthana bhavana, practicing the way of mindfulness, in order to observe, comprehend the insight knowledge, beginning with the discernment of mind and body, that this is a mind, this is a body, this is a noting mind, this is a noted object, and so on, in stages, reaching the maturity of the practice, walking the right path, such as walking the path of jnana, path of knowledge, or knowledge path. Then, being able to practice and cultivate insight knowledge to the maturity of liberating wisdom, one is able to go beyond the arising and passing way of psychophysical phenomena, reaching the ultimate cessation with the realization of path and fruition knowledge of the noble ones. Such is walking the right path, leading to right destination. Mega Patipana Kemanda Bhumi Pata. Walking, practicing the right path leads to the right destination in terms of safe land, the land of peace and security. And one such becoming an Arya. If a lay person becomes an Arya, a noble one, he or she will be possessing, he or she will be observing these 5 precepts on a full-time basis, all the time. And since one is free from ignorance, avijja, not knowing the truth and knowing wrongly, one is free from the view of person being individual, the view of atta, self or soul, that this is viewing the nama rupa mind body as person being individual and so on, you, man, woman and so on. Such is holding the view of individual self or soul, jiva atta. And if one does not discern mind and body, one will go on taking the realities as person being individual and so on, holding the view of jiva atta, self or individual soul. And if one cannot comprehend the conditionality of psychophysical phenomena, cause and effect relationship, then one will hold the view of Paramata, the Supreme Self or Soul. And if one does not see the impermanent nature of things, one does not observe the rising and passing away of psychophysical phenomena, then one will hold the view of permanence, that things are always permanent, they don't dissolve and so on. And if one does not understand the unsatisfactory nature of mind and body, one will still hold the view of the satisfactoriness of mind and body. So, once you are able to see the arising and passing away, or discernment of mind and body, and then the conditionality of psychophysical phenomena and seeing an impermanence, all these views will be gone. You'll be free from all these views, and there will be no view of self or soul, atta. You'll be free from that. And you'll be free from this Sadhara deity and Osija deity. The view of Sadhara deity, viewing that everything is permanent, the view of permanence, that things continue to happen, then one, the self or soul is there all the time. Such is the view of permanence, Sadhara deity, and the view of annihilation view, that if you see things arising, then you will overcome this annihilation view, the view that everything is cut off, everything dissolved, and to the point of no return. There will be no coming again, this view of annihilation, Ocheda deity. All these views will be gone. You'll be free from such distorted views. And because you know the truth, all the views, addiction, you're not addicted to wrong views, And once you see Nibbana, you say to yourself, oh, this practice is correct. And there's such a thing as the cessation of mind and body. Then you will come to have faith and confidence in the practice. If you don't see Nibbana, you won't believe it. Once you realize Nibbana, you will have faith and confidence. Then all your wrong, distorted views will be gone. And if you are able to realize, attain the first path, at least the first path, then you will be free from this view of nature, permanence, and atta, these two things. Atta, self or soul, existence of self or soul. These two views will be gone from you. You will still, maybe you still hold on to the view of sukha, satisfactoriness, that things are still satisfactory. So, in this way, you will be free from the view of permanence, once you see impermanence. And once you see the mind and body, you will be free from the view of atta, self or soul, distorted view of self or soul. And once you see the true nature of the objects, your addicted views will be gone. Your views will become rectified. Because you know the truth, all the wrong views will be gone. And you all are alike by way of sila, morality, and you all become alike by way of views. And from one to many, you come together in a community known as Sangha. And such as community of monks and those individuals who listen attentively to the Buddha's instructions and call Savaka Sangha, sometimes removing the Savaka, calling them as Sangha. So we are all similar, alike by way of sila, morality, and by way of views. Hence, the Sangha, community of disciples. Though we are different geographically, coming from different parts of the world, from different countries, different regions, we are practicing the same Satipatthana practice. So we are basically being fulfilled with the preliminary paths in terms of the Sila Samadhi Panya, morality, concentration and wisdom, and so that we practice until we reach the maturity of liberating wisdom, to become an Arya. Then we become, we are alike, we are the same community in terms of Sila and views. Then we become Dhamma relatives, Dhamma family, members of the Dhamma family. Though we are different geographically, we are the real members of the Dhamma, real Dhamma family. Like when you cut a piece of gold, a block of gold into half, two halves, into halves, and then what will happen? These both sides will still be gold, even if you cut the gold into half. So, although we are different geographically, by practice we are the same. We belong to the community of disciples, Sangha. We are alike in terms of sila and views. Thus we are community of disciples. In this way, the Buddha has said that once we have the same morality and views, we are Dhamma family, members of the Dhamma family, members of the Dhamma relative, and the Buddha has established this Dhamma family. And as much as this Dhamma family is good, we are bound to be happy and peaceful. And we make ourselves members of the Dhamma family, and also exhort others within our reach to become members of the Dhamma family, so that they become related as members of the Dhamma family. So we must set as a role model, not just pretending to be role model, we must have to be real role model. Then only we become members of the community of disciples, members of the Dhamma family. We are bound to be peaceful and happy. So while we are walking, traversing the rounds of birth and rebirth, samsara, we will be peaceful and happy as members of the same Dhamma family. Such is walking the right path and practicing the right path, leading to the right destination, Kemanda Bhumi. And with the practice, with reaching the right destination, we become the real, genuine Savaka disciples. That is saying that the disciples, the students of good teacher, mostly such is the case. It is all right. The disciples of a good teacher. But to become the good teacher of good disciples is not easy. Just like in the case of the parents and children. The children of good parents, mostly they are in this way. Mostly their children are they are the children of good parents. But to become parents of good children is not easy. And so, knowing this nature, one has got to become good disciples, good students, so that the teacher also will become the teacher of good disciples. Understanding this, may be able to practice to become a genuine Savaka disciple. That's all.